Like Kansas gets Homeland Security money. Kansas. And the last time Kansas had to deal with terrorism, it ended when a house fell on that witch. So I don't know.
This gentleman, and I don't know if I've told him this before or not, but he was, I believe, the last in-studio guest we had before the pandemic hit.
I did not know that.
Yes, you were, Hari Kondabolu, a stand-up comedian who's going to be in Bloomington here coming up soon in April. Yes, a matter of fact, my running joke was that you were the last person that I shook hands with before we all stopped shaking hands.
Right. It was the next to last show I did before the world ended for 2 years. So I remember it fondly. I thought about the show I did in Indianapolis and the show I did the next night in Cincinnati for 2 years, and just how like those were good shows, and if those were the last ones I ever do, then well I ended them on a bang. So, but I'm glad they aren't. I'm glad I'll be at Bloomington coming up, and thanks again for having me on.
Oh, and anytime. Yeah, I pulled up the picture here.
Look at that.
I'll put that on the full screen here. That was me. Fortunately, I've dropped some weight since then somehow.
You're one of the few during the pandemic. I think I put on some pandemic weight. Or maybe we just had a kid, so maybe it was some sympathy dad weight too. That could have been a mix of both.
That's an absolute thing. As you know, as a new dad, the sympathy weight during pregnancy. I know that when we were having our first one, we lived right across the street from a Taco Bell, and that just happened to be what my wife was craving all the time. And it was a 24-hour taco drive-through too. So we're there like it was either Taco Bell or pie from the 24-hour grocery store.
I mean, sympathy is really a misnomer there, because it's not. It's like basically an excuse for you to binge as well. Basically, there's no sympathy in that. You were just given the green light to eat what you want and just go nuts. So that's what it was.
Pretty much. Now, as a performer, during the pandemic, I mean, you still got to somehow make a living. I mean, that was tough for artists of any stripe, really, for the last 2 years.
Yeah, I mean, it was, it was tricky. I mean, Zoom is pretty incredible. It's the growth of Zoom during the pandemic. The fact that like I was able to do shows for money via Zoom, it was surreal. Like, also just like doing a show where you're getting paid and the audience doesn't know whether you're wearing pants or not is very bizarre. And I was, because I'm a professional, but I didn't need to be, and that was a little disturbing. But yeah, I got through it. I think a lot of us did. It was difficult, but we found a way. And I think also people adjusted. Like, this isn't necessarily ideal for a stand-up, but people still found ways like, hey, but I need to enjoy something. The bar is very different than where it used to be. If it's a man on screen talking to me, I'll take it.
Now, how has it been reconnecting with live audiences then? Have you seen any differences between live audiences now as opposed to pre-pandemic?
I mean, first of all, the masks, which until we're in the clear about the pandemic, I'm okay with the masks, but it is a little strange to see a bunch of people in the audience wearing masks. It's creepy, really, because you hear sound, but you're not seeing any faces. I think people are grateful in a way I don't necessarily think they were before, because you get spoiled by like, I'm going on, I'm doing a thing, and to all of a sudden have your life back and to go to a live performance and to be around other people and to laugh without fear. Oh my God. You know what I mean? You can see the joy that people have. And, it's been 2 years since I've been on stage. There's still a little bit of rust, but you could, clearly the audiences are okay with it because they're just excited. And I think as I'm relearning to do my craft, they're relearning to be audiences. And so we're all in it together, and it's kind of a wonderful feeling.
Hari Kondabolu is at the Comedy Attic in Bloomington, April 14th through 16th. Speaking of laughing without fear, do we even touch the Chris Rock, Will Smith thing here?
Oh, boy. I mean, I will say that as much as I understand Will Smith's anger, I just hate to see audience members get on stage and attack the comedian, even if the thing that was said was repulsive. Like, I certainly say things that some people love and some people absolutely hate. And I would hate for that to happen to me. And even if you think that, what Chris Rock said, it wasn't something you could stand by politically or anything else, that still doesn't justify violence, obviously. So it was hard to watch. And also, like, Will Smith is like, a hero. So to see two heroes in that situation is so painful. It's like, Tom Hanks slapping Jerry Seinfeld. It's like a very bizarre, like, these are not people you expect to ever see in that kind of situation.
Well, and especially somebody like you that's done a lot of political humor in the past, especially in the times that we live in now.
Yes.
I
Yeah.
mean, even us in the media, a couple of years ago, we were taking station logos off of our vans just to avoid being physically attacked in public. And somebody like you, the type of
Yeah.
humor that you sometimes do, that these days you just never know.
Well, I mean, it was depressing in that way too, because it was, entertainment is a distraction from all of it, right? Even if if the entertainment is like what I do, like something that still forces you to be engaged in the world, it's still an escape from your day to day. And to see that was like, oh, even here, even here we have this. Um, it was it definitely wasn't a highlight so far of the year. I think some people really enjoyed it. I did not enjoy it. I found it depressing.
And all the hot. I mean, everybody's got a hot take, and
Yeah,
I guess I'm
yeah.
tired of seeing the hot takes by
I
now.
don't. I don't think I have the hot take is not that hot. It's like, just please don't leave your seat to hit people.
Yeah, yeah.
I
So
understand the rage of it. I get that frustration, especially when you love someone and who's going through what Jada Pinkett Smith's going through. But that's not the way to do it.
sure, sure. So what are we talking about on stage these days? I mean, I know you're a new parent, and I
Yeah.
know the running gag is, oh, we always end up talking about our kids when we have kids, and I guess that's true to a certain extent. But I mean, how much of that is what you talk about on stage now?
A little bit. I mean, I think more than that, fatherhood, and I know that sounds weird to separate the two, but certainly, like, being a father during a global pandemic is an interesting phenomenon, right? And for those of you who are wondering, he's not a pandemic baby. That is incorrect, because the pandemic babies happen when they're conceived during the pandemic. He's actually a Honolulu Ritz-Carlton baby, which is another kind of baby altogether, a vacation baby. But yeah, I mean, I think the whole phenomenon of having kids during this time when you're isolated, and the idea that children, like my kid, didn't see an adult face other than immediate family for like a year. So when adults were finally taking their masks off and we took him for walks, he was like there's others. Like, I just thought my parents had mouths. Like you could see his face open up, his eyes open up, like, what is going on? I mean, the whole experience is so unique. So certainly that's, being a first-time father is unique. Being a father during a global pandemic is unique. So that's, certainly a big part of the hour. And the stuff I historically have done is in there too. A lot of stuff about race and politics and, the state of the world. But how could I ignore having a kid during this time?
Sure, sure. You got plenty of years to learn the proper dad jokes too. I mean, I guess comedians are supposed to just inherently know the dad jokes already, I suppose.
I mean, I made a few dad jokes during this next hour. You guys are going to hear a couple that are just so cringy that I justify now. I feel like I now have like license to say any corny joke I want. Like, why can't it be cheesy? I'm a dad.
Yep.
It's no longer in my control.
Yep. If you're a dad, we all have that license.
Right.
Ari Kondabolu, who's going to be at the Comedy Attic in Bloomington, April 14th through the 16th. We've got details at WRTV.com. Quickly,
Yeah.
I want to point people to your podcast that you've done with the wonderful Emmy Award-winning W. Kamau Bell for many years, Politically Reactive. Is that coming back for another season?
I hope so, but I'm still not. We're still not particularly sure both our schedules or what. Especially Kamal's. He's filming a CNN show, and he
Right.
just put out that Bill Cosby project, the 4-part documentary. Let's talk about. We got to talk about Cosby on Showtime. I would love to have it back just so I could talk to my friend on a schedule. I feel like it's hard when you're busy and you're both parents to make that time, and it forced us to hang out every week. But I hope so. I really do.
Well, and it gives I always thought it gave a mouthpiece to a part of politics, a part of culture that doesn't
Yeah.
get mainstream attention a lot.
Yes. Yeah, I mean, I think both of us have that, like, lots of friends who work in social justice movements who are on the ground. So it isn't necessarily just politicians talking about what they'd like to do, but these are people that are in the fight saying, this is what we're experiencing. This is what's happening. People who, are writing books about subjects that we haven't discussed in mainstream media before. I mean, those are all things that made the show so special. So yeah, absolutely.
Yep, go check out back episodes of that and yeah, all of his other work. I know you've had a Netflix special out that's been out for a while, and but of course, go see Hari Kondabolu, please, in Bloomington, Comedy Attic, April 14th through 16th, and hopefully we will get to shake hands next time you're around.
Yes. Oh my God. Can you imagine that? That would be thrilling. Human contact, absolutely thrilling.
It was weird doing it again for a while.
Yeah,
We're finally getting used to it. So, all right, thank you. I appreciate it.
absolutely. Good to talk to you.